Yo, it's official. Finally, Spinning Yarns has its first ever sponsor. I'd like to make a big shout out to Stan and Carly from Club Physical Kara for hooking us up and being the first ever official sponsor for the Spinning Yarn show. So let me tell you guys a story. A few years ago, I was the heaviest that I've ever been in my entire life. I was 150 kgs, unmotivated, low self-esteem. Bro, I was physically unhealthy. I was a big boy. And the first step I ever did to make change was step into Club Physical. Every single day, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, I stepped in that gym and I made the steps that I had to do to be the best me that I could ever be. And if it wasn't for Club Physical, bro, I'll probably still be that 150 kg, unmotivated, low self-confidence, freaking big boy from Kara. So how's about that? The best gym coming out of Kara, sponsoring the best podcast coming out of Kara. It's a match made in heaven. So I'm encouraging our listeners to go down to Club Physical and, bro, make that change, brother. So again, a big shout out to Stan and Carly, Club Physical Kara, for helping a brother out and sponsoring our show. Bro, Club Physical, where you belong. Oath, brother, oath. Brother, what's that, brother?
Spinning Yarns, the best podcast coming out of Kara. Listen to the full episodes on all streaming platforms. Chirp!
I just hear them talking, but I talk that shit. Shit stirring, how to leave them lurking. But I fake still bump my shit. Men's be stuck on the ground for days, and a man don't slow down easy. Try to be the next big thing. Man don't stop till the fam so see me. Cause a man straight swerving.
Kia ora, welcome to Spinning Yarns, the best podcast coming out of Kara, sponsored by the best gym coming out of Kara, Club Physical and the Broken Village. Shout out to the brother Uts. My name is Mr. Pierce Penny Wiripo, and I'm here. I'm gonna give this guy a bit of an intro. So I'm here with a legend. So as everyone knows, I'm a massive pro wrestling fan. We've had many pro wrestlers on there. People like Jamie Tangata Ese, people like Aaron Henare, aka Henare. And now I got the big guy, the fella that's bringing New Zealand pro wrestling to the world. He is a former IWGP Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. He is one of the founding members of the Bullet Club. He is the underboss, Bad Luck Fale, aka Toks. Fale, how are you, my bro? Good meeting you, brother.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been good, man.
Yeah, bro, that's awesome, my man. So a lot of people, they're seeing you on social media as your influencer name, Toks Fale. They may see you on New Japan Pro Wrestling as the star, Bad Luck Fale, one of the founding members of the Bullet Club, as I said before. But you know, we're gonna take this all the way back, my bro. So tell a little bit of people about yourself, brother. Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
A little bit about myself. Let's see, man. Been everywhere. Grew up, born in Tonga. Grew up in New Zealand, but made in Japan.
Yeah.
So played rugby. Retired from that. Got into wrestling. I've been wrestling ever since. But now I'm more focused on coaching and promoting.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
so
love
that's
it.
where I am right now.
So it's cool, man. It's cool as a lot of people need to know you're a legend in the game, brother. So what I want to do is I take a way back, because you know, before the rugby, before the pro wrestling and everything like that, whereabouts is your stomping grounds? Like, whereabouts did you end up growing up?
Mangry.
Oh, that's where my mum's from.
Oh yeah.
she's still around by the Mangere Bridge.
The rich area of Mangere. Yeah. I'm from Mangere. I went to De La Salle College. I was a big rugby fan, and one of my favorite players was John Kerwin back in the day. So I found out he went to De La Salle, so I thought, I'm going to De La Salle.
Yeah. I love that, my bro. That's one thing about La Salle. Like, everyone is like real, like it's like
It's a brotherhood.
It's a brotherhood, and it's like a real like even one of my bros, shout out, he's probably watching this older bro. Oh no, he'll get mad. He's from Kelston actually. Sorry, Sips brother, sorry. But he used to tell me, like, you know, people from La Salle, like, they get a tattooed on them and everything like that. It's a brotherhood,
Yeah, it's so close knitted. Like, if I meet a De La Salle boy who just finished last year or the year before, the second we find out we're from La Salle, bro, I'm gonna do anything I can to help that person.
What is it about that, bro? Like, what's it about the brotherhood that Cause like that's what, cause I'm from up north. I'm from Kara. I don't know. I went to a place called Kaitaia College. It's Hohori, bro. And when we see people from Kara, like I went to Kara College, and they're like, "Oh, I feel so sorry for you, bro." Like, what's it about La Salle that makes you feel so connected? Like, why is there a brotherhood?
From my own experience, I'd like to say it's a place where you go and you get stripped down to nothing, and then they build you up, like your family. Like, they strip you down to nothing, meaning they will mock the shit out of you.
Oh, true.
They'll mock everybody. Will mock each other until you cry or whatever. But before you get to that point, they bring you up.
Yeah.
But then, to me, everybody makes fun of all your insecurities.
Yeah.
But then once all your insecurities are out there,
Yeah.
then you're open to whatever that comes. So that's from my own experience.
Yeah.
I believe that's what it is. So, like, everybody's been stripped down of all of the guards,
Yeah.
and then you're exposed, but everybody accepts it.
Yeah.
Right? And then now you see what I have, palms up, and you have to accept me for what I am.
Yeah.
Where, you go outside of De La Salle, everybody's got that guard up. You don't know who that person is because all you see is
Yeah.
what's in front of you. Where I think growing up at De La Salle, just, man, stripped apart by everybody, and they see what I have, and they accept it. So to me, that made everybody more closer.
That's cool, man, and that's cool to hear that. Like, they're all supportive. I think we all need because I remember back, being from up home and everything. Like, I used to just hear like battles between schools and everything, LaSalle, Kelston, But it's cool to hear that, like, the support there, especially for our young Pacific Islander, Māori, and everything like that. We got the whole barriers against us, bro. Everything against us. But yeah, it's cool to have someone, having your back and stuff like that.
Man, I'd like to talk a little bit more about that because when I went to De La Salle, I entered in 1993, and in the late 80s and early 90s, there was a lot of the Tongan Samoan
Fighting.
clashes, and there were a lot of killings at the time. But when I went to De La Salle, I went purely because of rugby, right? Thinking, oh yeah, it's a rugby school. But when I got there, I'd say maybe 80% to 90% were Samoans. So imagine a Tongan who came into a school full of Samoans. And when I started to understand about what was happening outside of in the communities, the Tongan Samoans killing each other, it kind of scared me off. Oh, I'm going to go to the school where it's full of Samoans. I'm probably going to get killed. Yeah. But to my surprise, when I went there was only a few Tongans. 2% of the school probably at the time was Tongan, but the way they treated us, like, was normal. That's cool. I became, most of my friends were Samoans, and it changed my perception of what was happening outside.
Yeah.
The big wars between the islands, Tonga and Samoa, but going to the school changed my mentality.
Yeah.
I thought, man, there's nothing wrong with these people. They're Samoans, they love me. I love them now. But that's another factor.
Behind it all,
behind the brotherhood.
Yeah. Even like talk us about that too, because when I was a youngin, because I'm 26, I'm still young, and I remember I was brought up, and it was just after the aftermath of all that stuff, bro. Like, what was it like growing up in that time where it was? Because I remember it was like real, like, even it was separated with Māoris too. So Māoris didn't associate with Samoans, Māoris didn't associate with Tongans didn't associate. It was like real, like, prison, stick to your ethnicity type thing. Eh? What was it like growing up in those times, bro? Like, outside of the school, like yeah, how was it, like, even walking down Mangere, bro, or Mangele and stuff like that?
It was scary, man. Like, these days, I think it's safer. Like, people are nicer now.
Yeah.
And people know each other now, and there's a lot of intermingling. But those days, it was hard. If you hear about Otara,
Yeah.
you don't go to Otara if you're not Samoan, you're going to get stabbed. You hear about Mangere, that's where the Tongans don't go there. But it was scary, man, like, just to walk around. You try and walk around with your brothers or your friends. But if you go by yourself, you're going to get either stabbed or beat up.
Yeah.
It was scary. Like, sometimes walking home from school was scary. Because from De La Salle to my house was about 15 minutes, but I was still scared walking by myself.
Damn.
But
How big were you back then? Because
I
you're a
was
massive
tiny.
kid.
I wasn't. I never grew until I was 15, so I was a tiny little fella. And then 15, I just went
Boom. So yeah, but I know you talked about your rugby career, so we're gonna start into that. You played for La Salle, bro. What position did you play?
I played lock and number 8.
Number 8. Oh,
But I
true.
used to be a winger. Like
Oh,
you know, I said John Cohen was my
Yeah.
my favorite, but so I wanted to be a winger like him. But when I started getting older, I started getting the island weight.
yeah. Hey,
So the coach said, "No, go over there."
It's a benefit, brother. It's a benefit, you know. So yeah, being a lock and everything like that. Like, what was your career like as a? Because I know you ended up after you finished at La Salle. Talk about your rugby career after that. Like, how did you? What happened in that space?
So what happened? I finished at 99, but here's another thing that happens in De La Salle. A lot of guys they fail, and the good thing about De La Salle is they welcome you back for another year. You know, whereas I'd say other places you'd be ashamed to go back because you failed your last year. But over there, man, it's a normal thing. They give you that chance again. They called me. They said, "We know you failed your bursary. Would you like to come back and try it again?" I said, "Hell yeah, I'll do it." So when I failed the first year, you know, my rugby was not that good. And then the second time I came back, it was the best decision I ever made. I went back to school, and then I did get my qualifications, but at the same time, I got that's where I got the chance to get looked at and then get a scholarship to Japan.
Nice.
Yeah.
And did you play for the Japanese national team, or was it like?
I didn't get that far. I couldn't get my Japanese passport, so I didn't get that far. I went to university, played for 4 years, and I played for a company team for 3 years, and then that's how long I played.
Yeah, how was the? Because I noticed like Japan's doing really well now. Japan's doing really well now in their rugby and everything like that, and it's like a growing sport. Eh? How was it playing? You know, for Japan back then, was there any similarities or was there any differences within the game, or was it easier? Like,
Oh, very different. I'd say New Zealand and Islanders are more skill based
Yeah.
and power, but in Japan it's just pure fitness.
yeah,
If you can't keep up, you're gonna lose your spot. So usually in high school and university, your training is at least 4 to 6 hours a day, every day for 6 days a week. You know, you'll do your 2 hours in the morning, go to school, and then 2 hours after school.
yeah.
And that was every day, and it's so, oh man, it's crazy. But when you get into the pros, it's still the same thing, but even longer.
Yeah.
So if you can't keep up with the guys up front, man, you're gonna have a hard time.
And it's a thing, eh? The Japanese culture, we're real surrounded by it, and from the outsider looking in, bro, it's real discipline, respect, and everything like that. What was the transition of how was your transition of coming from South Auckland to Japan, but kind of speaking on that, we have a lot of values that are similar, respecting your elders, discipline, and everything like that. But what was your transition from, in the middle of Mangere to Japan? Like, it's a massive switch.
Oh man, culture shock.
Yeah.
The funniest thing when I was on the plane, up until I got there, I still had in my head that I was gonna get out and then I'm gonna see everybody with samurai swords, walking around with those wooden slippers and their kimonos. That's literally what I had in my head. But getting off the plane and just seeing how advanced they were compared to where we are, because all you see is what you see on TV. All you know. Back then there was no internet, and you only saw what you saw in the movies, which was the samurai movies. But learning how to eat with a chopstick, the first couple of nights they wouldn't give me a fork. They said if you don't know how to, if you can't learn how to use a fork stick, chopstick, we're not gonna give you any food. So I had to learn real quick That was a shock. Where do you find the chopstick in South Auckland?
Yeah, I know.
Now you can. It's
Yeah,
everywhere now.
yeah.
But in the late '90s or early 2000s, there wasn't any Asian stores around South Auckland.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
It's crazy too, and like especially the food too. The food would have been changed because we come to the middle of South Auckland, we can get chips and chicken nibbles, $14,
Yes.
pancake, like
Yes.
everything like that, like the fatty food. But over there, it's real. I've heard a thing that if you can eat takeaways in Japan and you can lose weight because their food's so clean, their water's so clean.
yes.
What was the food like when you first moved in?
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of that culture shock because a lot of the food we ate there, I've never had in my life. So, sushi, I thought sushi is meant to look like this over here.
Yeah.
And then when I got there, the way they eat it, the way they prepare it, it's totally different. So that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to live in Japan.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the food was so good, it was so clean.
Yeah.
The thing about them is perfection is everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard the saying where, no, not the saying. Part of their culture is, what if you're going to do something, you keep doing it until it's perfect.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, even if it takes you a whole lifetime.
yeah, yeah.
And if you watch how they cook, even cleaners, if you're janitor on the corridor, the way they clean, oh man, you'll think, man, he really loves his job because they have to do it perfectly.
Yeah.
If you miss one little spot, they do the whole thing properly again. So yeah, the culture, the food, the people, very different. I got really weirded out because I wasn't able to see an island face
Yeah.
or a white face for like the first 3 months
Yeah.
because I was so not used to seeing Asians everywhere
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah. I know what you mean, bro. I know what you mean. And it's cool to see too. Like one thing that I love about the Japanese culture, and something I think people in the Western world need to kind of understand is like there's stores out there and you can just leave it there, and like with food and I don't know whatever the hell like a product or like stores come like over there you can just leave it out in the open and no one's gonna steal it. Like their respect factor
Oh,
for
man.
their thing is crazy good.
That's
Yeah.
true. I'll drop my wallet right here.
Yeah.
I'll come back tomorrow looking for it.
It's right
still
there. Yeah.
It's either there or somebody's picked it up and given to the front desk.
That's cool, man.
And it's like in the train. If I drop my phone, it's either gonna go on the loop and come back. It's still there, or somebody's picked it up and given it to the train master. Or something.
That's cool, man.
Unless you're a foreigner, unless a foreigner finds it, they'll put it in their pocket.
Yeah.
The Japanese are so respectful that way.
I love that. Okay, now we've got to get into the nitty gritty, the questions that I want to ask. I mean, wait, it's such a long time. Like when I started this podcast, the first person that I wanted to talk to, there was Henare, and because he's Maori and he's cracking it, and I'm like, he's the man, and it was you, bro. Because you're such a pioneer in that space, bro. But how did you get your start in pro wrestling, bro?
Man, jeez. I was winding up from rugby, and a friend of mine said, "There's this tryout. You should come and try out." Because I wanted to stay in Japan a little bit longer, but I had no reason to stay. And the only way you could stay in Japan is either get married or find a job that'll give you a visa.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine said, "Oh, if you want to try this, there's a tryout happening this day. Come up there." So I went up there, went and tried out, and made it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a couple of days later, they called me and said, "Oh, there was 27 people there. I was the only one that they picked."
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? Why'd they pick me? Because I didn't finish anything. I didn't finish the exercises they gave me, which later they told me it's because you never gave up. So a lot of them would finish it and then hang around and drink their water and watch. But I was still there, still trying to finish whatever they gave me until they tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Oh, move on to the next exercise." Later to find out what they're looking for is those kind of people like who get tested and at their wits' end, but they keep going. Because at the end of the day, in that ring, people die. Like if you're up on the top rope holding somebody up like that. And if you give up, both your lives are at risk. But if you follow through, even though your legs are gone, safety landing, and that's what they're looking for. So that's how I got in. Later on, the newspapers ran with the story about rugby player becoming a New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestler, and I still had no idea what
New Japan was.
who New Japan was, and the company I tried out for, and a lot of my friends in Japan were like, "I can't believe you made New Japan." So, all I know is WWE.
Yeah.
And I thought, Japanese wrestling, there's nothing compared to WWE. But even getting in there, and just getting in there and being a young boy, I started to see the stars coming in, the stars from America coming, and then I started to realize, holy shit, I think I made a mistake, but the right mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, because at the time, because it was Noah and New Japan. Was New Japan the top Japanese?
New Japan has always been the top, but Noah was always always there.
Yeah. And as you said, one thing, like Japanese pro wrestling is completely different to like the pro wrestling that we see on TV. And there's been plenty of people that have died in the ring, like Masawa and everything like that have actually literally died in the ring. What was being in the dojos and everything like that? Because I've heard of horror stories of people getting their wits end in the dojo, especially being a Westerner. What was it like being in the dojos for you, bro, when you first started?
Man, I think I was one of the last person to do the old school style, where the beatings were real, man. I was actually, the first year I got in there was the year Misawa died.
Oh, true.
And that shocked me. I was like, that's what I'm going to do?
Yeah.
I get in there, and then one of the biggest stars in pro wrestling, dies from a move, and I'm sitting there. I remember sitting there in the dojo, we're all watching this, and I'm thinking to myself, is this what I really want to do? Because I just watched somebody die from a move.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah. What was some of the drills? Because I've always heard of like horror stories, but no one has ever explained. Are you allowed to talk about them? I know that it's like a real big respect thing, eh? What was like some of the drills that they had you doing, just so like the people, because a lot of people that watch my content are just new to this whole scene, eh? So what was some of the things that they made you do?
Here's a simple one, but very tough. I don't know if you've ever done a Hindu squat before.
Yeah.
Try doing 1,000. Try doing 100. Try doing a 50. And maybe do 20 to 50.
Yeah.
And then and then remember that feeling. But try and do 1,000 every single day for 2 years.
And who was your senpais? Your
right there when I was there, the main coach was Jaro.
Yeah. Oh, true.
From Jaro and Gero.
Yeah.
He was the main coach, but at the same time, we had the best thing about the dojo in New Japan. You don't have one coach; it's who's there on the day.
Yeah.
But over there, usually the baby faces will come to the dojo every single day and just work out.
Yeah.
Every morning. So whoever comes in that day, we're training, will jump in the ring and take us. So we were taught by the best in the world. Yeah. Tanahashi would come, Shinsuke would come, Nagara would come. So every day is somebody different you're learning from. So you're picking up the best of each wrestler you're getting. Whereas, some schools you only have one person.
Yeah.
Who teach you one way of thinking. Yeah. But over there, I felt so privileged to be able to learn from the best wrestlers in the world.
Man, that's crazy too. Like, so as you said that the 1,000 Hindu squats was the easiest, thing. Imagine that, 1,000 of anything. Like, I'm a really big person. Like, your whole feather can wear a ton if you hold it there a very long time, eh? Yes. So, 1,000 Hindu squats. Oh man, that's some crazy.
That's
stuff.
On a good day.
That's on a good day.
But if you piss off any of the senpais, they may come in the next day and say, blah 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 blah. You didn't do this, didn't do this. 5,000 squats.
Damn.
And that'll take 3 to 4 hours.
Oh, is that for a whole session?
If you do 1,000, it's almost, I'd say, close to an hour and a half to 2 hours.
And then you had to do some more.
And then you have the rest of the. Usually every day is about 4 hours.
Damn.
Yeah.
And at the same time too, for the people at home that are watching, you have to you're not just the student. You have to help out with the laundry and the cooking and everything.
You start
like
at 8 a.m.
Yep.
And you don't finish till 11 p.m.
11 p.m.
every day.
Yeah.
You know, because you do your cleanings, you do your cookings, then you train for 4 hours. Then you come and serve everybody food and wash dishes, do their laundries. Then you clean, then you cook again, then look after the whole place until, because everybody's coming in and out the whole day.
Yeah.
And you got to serve them, do their laundries, feed them. Next person comes in, same thing. Yeah, it's a lifestyle. I lost my hair because of this. I did. You know, I had dreadlocks.
Hey.
But the thing is, the tradition is when you get into the dojo in New Japan, everybody shaves their head for one time, the first night.
Yeah.
And everybody's done it every single for the 50-something years it's been open. But I went in there, I shaved it the first night, and my hair never grew back the way it should because I was so stressed.
Yeah.
It was so stressful.
And it's a cool thing to see, like, you know, it builds that character and that respect there, like, you know, pretty much like theoretically, like we're saying, respect getting beaten into you in a way. So you graduate from the dojo. And you become a is it a young
Young lion.
young lion, because you're a young boy, then you go to a young lion, eh?
Yeah.
So you become a young lion and you start wrestling. You start doing doing all of the matches and everything like that. How was that transition into there? Like building up your character and stuff like.
Yeah. You're a young boy. Was tough. Being a young boy was tough.
Yeah.
But when you debut, you become a young lion, which just means you're still doing the young boy stuff with the added pressure of doing matches and going on tour. It was very hard. You had to be on point all the time. You have to be before every show you do at least 2 hours of training before the show.
Yeah.
And then you're the first match, and you still have to perform right. After the match, you still have to be by the ring every single match, taking things back and forth, watching the matches, studying at the same time. It's a very, very tough lifestyle. Yeah. But I did that for 2 years before I went on excursion. If you go on excursion, it's your experience away from the dojo.
Yeah. And where did you go?
I went to St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, and what organization or what promotion did you wrestle?
At the time, I was supposed to be with ROH.
Yeah. That would have been cool, yeah.
Oh, man. I was unlucky because ROH at the time was working with Noah.
Yeah.
So they had a partnership. So when I came in, they still weren't really familiar with working with New Japan. But, so they didn't really use me. So we were with TNA before that. So TNA was coming at a coming down, and the connection with New Japan was severed.
Yeah.
And I was unlucky because that happened. And when I came in, that was finished. Yeah. And Noah was still. ROH was still had nothing to do with New Japan.
Yeah.
So they said I was gonna be get a contract or whatever, but when I got there, they hadn't heard anything about that. So I was unlucky, but at the same time, I was a little bit happy that I was getting a break from all that young lion stuff.
Oh, so were you just in the shuttle doing the indies at that time?
Yeah, I did a lot of the indies, but I did not like it.
Did you get paid for doing the excursion from New Japan, or were you just like
you're on salary? Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh, sweet.
So I was lucky. Young lions are lucky when they go on the excursion. It's pretty much a paid vacation.
That's dope, man. Yeah. And because I remember that was just before the New Japan and ROH relationship happened, and the TNA decline is when they kind of stuffed over Okada.
That's it. After when Okada came back to Japan, it was my turn to go.
And that took so long for them to reconnect that relationship. But what's it called? Going over to what's a Missouri and everything like that. What was your first gimmick? Like, what was your first gimmick over?
So in Japan, I was as a young lion. They made me a king. They called me King Fale.
Oh yeah,
King
yeah.
Fale. So I was working as a baby face.
Yeah.
In the Blue Justice
Nice.
with a Nagara.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah,
yes. Oh, you were. Oh, true. That's cool.
Nagara, Strong Machine, and Inoue. So and Captain Hirasawa.
Yeah,
So yeah, so I was doing this gimmick called the King Fale,
yeah,
but when I went on excursion, I experimented and I turned that king into a savage king.
yeah,
So I was trying, I was trying to be like the Wild Samoans.
yeah, yeah,
But I
yeah,
called myself the Savage King, which I really liked. I really liked that character.
yeah.
But then when they told me to come back, and they told me about
Underboss.
this angle about,
Yeah.
oh man, we want to put you together with Prince David,
Yeah.
and want you to do this, this, and this. I said, oh okay. So I'll just leave what I was doing with the Savage King,
Yeah.
and became the underboss. Yeah.
And that ties in differently to what I was going to talk to you next is creating the Bullet Club. So a lot of the people that started and the founding members of the Bullet Club have all gone on to have successful, very very success, including yourself, successful careers, bro. So how did you So Fergal Devitt, for people who don't know, is Finn Balor in the WWE.
Finn Balor.
He just performed at WrestleMania yesterday, and he done really, really good. Ratchet lost to Dominic Mysterio, so it is. But like creating the Bullet Club, how did that come about with New Japan? Because that is like one of, I would say, outside of NWO Japan, that's probably one of the biggest factions in history in their company. How did you guys create the Bullet Club, and did you guys know that it was going to be as big as it got?
Man. That was I put that down to the right time, the right place, and the right people coming together. The reason why they put me with David was just about to leave to go to WWE, but they convinced him, okay, what if we do this? Which kept them interested. And I think originally it was just going to be me and him doing for a year or something, just working him as a heel, as a heavyweight.
Yeah.
But the reaction when I came back and we teamed up as a duo, the reaction we had at the Ryokoku Sumo Hall was so devastating. The people were literally would call the office and demand that we get fired. That's how serious it was, because they hated us so much for doing that turn, that angle of Fergal. It blew the company's minds. Like, well, we've never seen this before. Usually it takes like a year for bad guys to get over the way you guys have. But we did it in one night. So it changed the plans, so to speak. So the companies, they say, well, if these two guys, at the time there was only four of us.
Yeah. You, Carl,
Tama,
and David, yeah.
And would sometimes have Giant Bernard.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about him. He was teaming with Fergal, yeah.
No, with Anderson.
Anderson, that's right. Yeah. Anderson, yes.
So we were the five main foreigners. So for years, we were the only ones every tour.
Yeah.
They'd hardly bring any foreigners. It was us every tour was just us. But Bernard was the only one that would come to big shows or whatever, or big tours, and he'll spend more time at home. But us four, and this is where we used to call ourselves the core four.
Yeah.
And they were so shocked that when they put two of us together, they got their reaction. Then they thought, if two of them can get that type of reaction, what happens if we put four of them together? And that's a month later. That's when it formed.
So like doing that, bro. Like I always hear stories of Anderson, Carl Anderson, and like what was he like behind scenes? I always listen to his podcast, and he's a crack up. He's a dick, bro. What was that fella like?
Oh man, that's my brothers, man. I always say, oh, that's my white brothers. Man. I love those guys. We would be on the bus.
Yeah.
What you hear on the podcast
Yeah.
is what you'd hear in the bus. Fuck. I'll be sitting behind them and they'll be just cracking jokes to each other, to everybody, to us. And literally, I'll be like in tears. I go, you guys shut the fuck up, man. They'd love to play this Would You Rather.
Yeah.
And they'll play, would you rather do this? And once in a while they go, hey, Fale, would you rather do this, blah, blah, blah. I say, keep me out of your fucking would you rathers, man. And they'll just laugh their asses off. Yeah, man, they love those guys. What you see on those podcasts, that's how they are in real life.
Fuck.
It's just a crack up.
Yeah, I love it too, eh? And as you said, there's 4 people, eh? There's core 4, the foreigners and the Eastern in Japan and everything like that. 4 Westerners coming in and just shaking up the whole ground and creating. And they're not used to that. They're like, they're not used to that style of wrestling.
No,
eh?
they're not.
Yeah.
So to carry on from that story, they put us 4 together, and it was hard for us to get over in the office.
Wow.
So to speak. We're over as characters and as heels, but it was hard to get over with the office because they didn't believe that we were popular. To them, they're all just heels in Japan. They hate you because you're the bad guys against the Japanese. But the internet was still new, Twitter was still new, Facebook was still like new, but New Japan was not on TV in America yet.
That's crazy,
But
bro.
this is what we were trying to tell our officers. We were telling them that there's people who are printing the designs of our shirts and wearing them on all these other different company shows. And we were trying to convince the officers, hey, we're really popular, But they said, no.
Is that a big reason why they didn't put the strap on Finn, on Fergal? Like because he had the junior heavyweight championship, but they didn't put the big belt on him. Eh? Is that a big reason why, or was it just because he was leaving?
Possibly because they still didn't see him as a heavyweight because he's a smaller
character.
Yeah, the reason why they put me with him is to make it look like he's formidable heavyweight.
Yeah.
And if you remember Shawn Michaels and
Diesel, yeah.
Right? Why was Diesel there?
Yeah.
To help Shawn Michaels
get over as
a heavyweight.
Yeah.
But they didn't believe we're over as a faction.
Yeah.
Until 2014, I think.
That's when AJ come in, eh?
Not yet.
Oh, true.
Not yet. Or maybe no. Not yet. They had a show in New York. The first New Japan show we did in America was in New York, and the company, the boss was there. And when they came back, the boss, man, he came straight to me and called Anderson over, and he said to us, hey, maybe 300 people wearing Bullet Club shirts. And we looked at each other and was going, we told you. They were popular.
Like, it's crazy to hear though, because you have then they had the Bucks come on. They're amazing. And then they had Kenny Omega come down later down the road, another legend. Fergal leaves. Fergal goes to NXT. He leaves New Japan and he cracks it in WWE. AJ come along. What was the difference in there? Like, because that was like a big star, like a big world-renowned TNA star coming into the Bullet Club to lead the Bullet Club. How did that?
Man, there's a big difference between both of them. David, got us started, and he put us on the map. But as a faction, Bullet Club peaked when AJ was there.
Yeah.
David left, went on and became successful over there. But I know the big difference, because we were, of course, we were hurt. Our friend and our leader has gone. Now what? There's only a few of us and we don't know what to do. Are they going to push one of us as the big star? I'd say if they had given Carl Anderson the chance, he would have been a great champion.
I thought that too. I thought that was weird because he was like he was in the finals of the G1A, at one point, and
2012.
and they pushed him as a tag. I don't know. This is just from from a fan point of view. I don't know anything as a pro wrestler because I'm not I always I'm a fan. I'm a fan. We wonder why they didn't. Do you know why they just didn't see the
Like I
potential?
said, it's sometimes in the office they have different ideas.
Yeah.
And it's hard for foreigners to get over.
Yeah.
It took years for foreigners until I'd say Bullet Club really changed a lot of views.
Yeah.
Once Bullet Club, the shirt itself made the company so much money that they were forced to actually start thinking in a different way.
Yeah. So Bullet Club starts blowing up with AJ in it. Is AJ a cool fella?
Oh man, game changer. Game changer. Because when he came, we knew of AJ. We never worked with him before.
Yeah.
But we knew, he's this big star in TNA. He's gonna come over here, and he's gonna be another. I'm the man. I'm the boss. You listen to me.
Yeah.
Take all the glory. But man, I'll tell you the story.
Yeah.
Why everyone changed changed the way they thought of him and turned him into the biggest star there was. Yeah. What happened was AJ came in. I remember one of the Real Koku shows. I was with Okada, and then AJ comes in, attacks Okada, and reveals that me and AJ, Too Sweeted, reveals he's coming into the Bullet Club. A month later, AJ versus Okada. And AJ wins the championship. So now we've got the championship belt in the Bullet Club. We all finished, gathered our stuff, got in the van, we all headed back to the hotel. And I legit tell you, it was one of those movie scenes, man. Get to the hotel copying, it's a little bit dark, a little bit of light. We all come out, everybody's quiet. Everybody's like, yeah, this guy's got the championship belt. You got a big ego, whatever. Yeah. It's myself, Tama, Gallows, Anderson, and the Bucks.
That's crazy to think.
And like I said, this could have been a movie. We all get off, grab our bags, and we're all walking towards the hotel entrance. And AJ is at the back, and he goes, fellas, come back, And then we all turn around, and, oh, what's going on? We came back, just kind of stood around in a circle, and he said, I'm not here for me, And he said, this is for all of us. This championship, this win is not just for me. This is for all of us. And he said, let's grow this together. Let's grow as a team. Man, the tension and the weight of our shoulders just disappeared. And from that moment on, that's when Bullet Club really blew up. Because it didn't matter who had a match. If we're walking out together with them, we all pointed to that guy. Like if it was AJ, best wrestler in the world.
Yeah.
We're talking to people, he's the best wrestler in the world. If Anderson and Gallows had a tag match, best tag team in the world. Everybody's not going out there going, me. This was the first time we all go out and we go, that guy.
Yeah.
If I've got a match, everybody's helping me get over.
That's mad.
That's when everything changed because we worked as a team.
Yeah.
And we all decided when the shirt came out, remember, Facebook was still new.
Yeah.
All these platforms were still new.
Yeah.
So every time we got a new shirt, okay, boys, after the show, we're going out, wear your shirt. Everybody wore the shirt. Every picture, like if you look up Google Bullet Club, you'll see group pictures of us in the same shirt everywhere. And that's what really changed the game, because now everybody around the world is seeing this group in the same shirt.
Yeah.
Everybody wants that shirt.
I remember being 14, looking at that shirt, watching Carl Anderson's promo at the Bullet Club All the Gold video, and I sit there watching that video, and everyone had all the belts, and I was like, I want that shirt. I went online, looked at it, because it was in Japan and it'll be like $50-$60 and I was like, I can't buy it. So I wanted that shit so badly as a 14-year-old. But like, you know, that all starts happening, Bullet Club starts blowing up, then there's new people coming on. People like Cody Rhodes, that's crazy. He just wrestled at the main event of WrestleMania.
Exactly.
Cody Rhodes, people like Juice Robinson, and there's like, you know, all these renditions of like the Bullet Club and everything like that. When did you think, like, was there at any point that like you thought that the Bullet Club was sitting into the NWA, or were you just like, nah, this is all good?
To be honest, I thought when AJ left, when the Gallows and Anderson left, then it just felt like, oh yeah, now they're just putting anybody in there.
Yeah.
Like anybody can be a Bullet Club now. But it lasted for so long. But it just goes to show that Bullet Club was pretty much the platform that launched a lot of these people's
AEW.
careers. Yeah.
AEW.
Yeah.
That's
Without
crazy.
Bullet Club, they wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Without Bullet Club, a lot of these people wouldn't be here.
Yeah. And like with all that, bro, with all of that stuff going on, like, why didn't we I'll go to that. I want to ask you another question, but I'm going backwards, so thinking in my head. Why didn't we see like you at a Ring of Honor show or at a because it was like it kind of went into this weird thing where it was like the elite type thing going on. Why didn't we see like a Tamatonga going to a Ring of Honor show, or kind of a little bit, or like a you know, all-in show and stuff like that? Why did you guys? I felt like you guys were being hidden away in New Japan.
Yeah. I thought so. I thought as well, you know. But you know, people have their own agendas, their own ideas of where a lot of direction should go. But you know, for me, I'm New Japan. You know, I think like a New Japan wrestler. I think, you know, like a Japanese. So the way the Americans thought about things, I had no idea.
Yeah.
What they want or the things they wanted to do. So I just reserved myself. I said, okay, what's going on? They don't need you in RH. Okay, I'll just be happy here.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really fussed about that kind of stuff. Also, my character wouldn't get over.
True. Why would you say that?
I if you compare the way I wrestle to a lot of the big men in America, it's very different. If you so I'm Japanese, right?
Yeah.
The way I wrestle is Japanese. So if you compare me to the big guys in Japan, we're very similar.
Yeah.
We can do certain matches
Yeah.
that the crowd would be fucking, whoa,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
But if I go to America, you know, my character doesn't do a lot of bumps like that.
Yeah. Like the
You know, flippy bullshit.
Yeah.
There's guys bigger than me who are taking fucking those type of bumps.
Yeah.
And doing flips off the ropes and all. I can't.
You're just
Can't
the old
do
school,
that. I'm old school, yeah.
old school big man, yeah.
So to me, I don't. That's why I didn't care. They probably don't want to book me because nobody wants to work with my stuff.
Yeah, man.
But at the same time, I feel sorry for the guys over there because there's so many injuries, unnecessary injuries, for people because they shouldn't be doing that type of stuff.
Yeah, so you're a real believer of like, you know, because even too, like, I seen it in your boys, the Pretty Boys, right? I went to that Whangarei show and I seen them. And one thing I loved about them, bro, is that they didn't take a lot of bumps. Like, you know, they just worked the crowd and they were just talking the whole thing. I could see them getting blown up, like how they do the match and stuff. But like, I just watched it, and my missus, she's not a wrestling fan. She just tags along with me everywhere I go because I like this stuff. Yeah, and I'm just like, I need a ride. I need you to, I want to have a beer. I need you to take me to these places. But like, what she loved is them, and it was purely because they were talking to the crowd, and like, yeah, and it was she was like, "Father, they crack up." Every time we talk about New Zealand wrestling, she's like, "Pretty Boys." Like, honestly, those fellas, Pretty Boys, they're crack up.
Oh man, this is so over.
So, I like this shirt too, bro. I love this shit. But going backwards again, you become like, so there was like, at the time there was like, there's a lot of bouts in New Japan. The second biggest bout of New Japan was the IWGP Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. You ended up winning that bout. How was that? Like, how was that winning like the second biggest prize in New Japan.
Actually, people don't really realize this, but that year, that bout was the main event.
It was, yeah, Wrestling the
Yeah.
main.
So when people say it was the second, it wasn't the second.
Yeah.
It was the top bout at the time.
Yeah.
If either the IWGP belt was the top bout, why was it main event? I mean, semi-main event.
Co-main event, yeah.
Yeah, so when people say, "Oh, why don't you go for the IWGP?" I tell them, "Why would I go for second
Yeah.
best when I've already won the best?"
Yeah.
Technically, wording, whatever.
Yeah. World into, stuff like that,
but
yeah.
to me, I believe that I was the best at that time.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. After winning that, I had no desire to go after anything else.
Did you beat Shinsuke for that one? Or?
Shinsuke,
Yeah,
yes.
like that's crazy, bro.
Oh man, at the time they quartered Shinsuke's belt
Yeah,
because he defended it so many times, nobody could win it off him.
Yeah. It's cool too to see because at the time he was the person. I remember watching him versus Kota Ibushi, Wrestle Kingdom and 987, one of them, and I seen it there and I was like, whoa, who was this guy? It's so ratchet to see what's happened in his career, but it's cool. He's probably making a lot of money, man.
I think he's making a lot of money.
But yeah, so talking about the success of your other, what's your thoughts on seeing your brothers, bro? The core four, every single one of those people, even John Bernard, he's running the performance center.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on seeing those your Bullock Hub brothers doing so well in the
Man,
in the
I'm
company?
happy, and I'm so happy they all got to follow what they wanted. Myself, I'm successful.
Yeah, bro.
Where I am now, even though I'm not with those guys,
Yeah.
I consider myself successful. Because it's not what I wanted. What I wanted was to build New Zealand to a level where I can say I did that. If I went to one of those companies, of course I'll get paid really well, but would I be happier? I don't think I would be.
Yeah. That's a good thing, and this ties into the next question, eh? And this we want to talk about into New Zealand pro wrestling, because I went into your show in Mangere, the other time. I went up, I was like, yeah, I could, because I wanted to watch Kingston, because Kingston's one of my bros. I had him on the podcast a little while ago. I was like, oh yeah, I'll show up. I'll just show up. I'll be alright. I got Kingston's, bro. I rocked up to the Mangere event center, and I was like, I want a ticket. They were like, oh no, we're sold out. I was like, oh. And I was like, oh, I'm here to watch Kingston. He's one of my bros. Oh, do we have another ticket? No. Oh, we sold out. Oh, Reds are going. But that proves that New Zealand pro wrestling is doing well when we're getting sold out. Aotearoa wrestling selling out. What's it called? IPW. We're down to Hamilton, sold out. The underground scene. What's your thoughts on New Zealand pro wrestling compared to back then?
Yeah, big difference. Yeah. No. What's the big difference? I'd say 10, 15 years ago, everybody wasn't working together.
Yeah.
Whereas this time, I think everybody's open to working with each other now. And there's a lot more wrestlers who are learning the right way, I think, compared to back then. Back then, there was a lot of people who were teaching, but a lot of them have never really had the experience overseas. So there's the big difference, I think. But that's it. One of my goals is to, because back in the 80s or the 70s, 80s.
Yeah, that's what it was.
This was one of the biggest territories in the world.
Yeah.
So I want New Zealand to be another big territory.
Yeah.
Where people want to come and wrestle here.
Yeah.
So.
And creating Fale Dojo, in Otahu.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
How has that been molding the next generation of and you're doing a really fucking good job at it, bro. I was up home and someone was rocking your singlet and I was like, see, this is great. This is great. What has it been like running your own dojo in South Auckland?
It's not easy, man. as you say, it's it's tough to help everybody when everybody has no money. So
How much do you charge for it?
the courses are somewhere between, I think, 5 to 7K for 3 months,
That's good. Yeah.
and that's New Zealand dollars. In America, that's the same price for
Yeah,
American dollars.
Yeah.
So a lot of people here and will go to America and pay that price
Yeah.
and get shit training.
Yeah. Straight up.
But that's besides the point. The point is, the opportunity to learn the best type of wrestling there is, but people can't afford it. That's the hard thing. So a lot of times there's talent that I recognize, and I know they have no money, so a lot of times it comes out of my own pocket. And sometimes those people get a chance to go overseas. Sometimes those people can't follow through. So that's the problem with that. It's hard because the funding isn't really there,
Yeah.
or the support is not really there. So
Yeah.
I do it with passion.
Yeah.
That's what's keeping me going.
I love that, bro. So, like, in terms of like growing the scene and everything like that, the New Zealand pro wrestling scene is blowing up. It's booming. It's doing freaking well. Who do you think? Are people to watch in the New Zealand scene, or the people that you're kind of like? Oh yeah, these guys are gonna do good. These guys are gonna do great.
Man, I'm really amazed with James Shaw.
He's great, eh?
See that
He's
reaction?
so great.
That's
Yeah.
the reaction that I want from every wrestler.
Yeah.
For every wrestler.
Yeah.
Because he's adaptive. He can work with small guys, big guys. He like bad guys, good guys.
Yeah.
He's very how do you say wide?
Yeah.
What do you call it?
He's like he has a really big
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the word?
Yeah.
What's the word?
Yeah.
So he pretty much can work anybody.
Yeah.
And man, just bring a match into life. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah.
I really hate this guy.
Yeah. Sorry to ruin your gimmick, bro, but you're a really nice guy too, bro. I need to get you on the podcast.
He's one of the funniest people I know.
Yeah.
But when he's in that ring, if he needs to be a bad guy, he'll be a bad guy. So I rate him. I'd like to say he is probably the best wrestler in New Zealand right now. Other than that, the Pretty Boys, probably the most popular, will be the most popular tag team there is in New Zealand. Yeah, those would be the top picks for me.
Nice one, bro. And before we close off, bro, I got two more questions, bro, to ask you. To be honest, I got like 100,000 questions to ask you, bro. But one of them, bro, is like being like a professional wrestler nowadays, and like being. I don't see our culture as a barrier, or I don't see our situation as a barrier, because I think there's no such thing as barriers in a way. Just work everything like that. You can always overcome them. But what has been some struggles, bro, about being a professional wrestler for being from the middle of South Auckland, from Mangere? What has been some struggles for you, bro?
There's a couple, of course, in Japan, if you're not Japanese, you'll heel, right?
Yeah.
If you're not if you're not white, you'll heel.
Yeah.
So of course, the racial thing is a factor sometimes.
Yeah.
Where if there's a chance to pick out of two people who should be champion, of course they go with the white person. But I don't like playing the victim. I understand the situation. Who cares? Move on. What am I going to do to make myself even better?
Yeah.
So that's one of the barriers that I've always faced in wrestling. Is of course color, but it's nothing to dwell on. It's happened to everybody. The second is, of course, my culture, Tongan. Same as Maori and Samoan and Fijian. We're a very humble culture.
Yeah.
Where you take what you're given. Most of the time, you shut the fuck up and you say yes and do it. That's one of the barriers where sometimes the opportunity is there, but I'm too humble to say yes, I want it. But I have learned how to speak up when I need to, and if there's something that I really want, I know when I need to speak up and say, I want to be
Yeah.
that guy, or I want that raise. So that cultural side of things too sometimes can get the better of you, but I've learned how to work around that.
Have you thought of it any way about going over to the other side like before? Or
Oh yes, I've had offers before.
what made you not go?
Like I said, my
Yeah.
my family, right? Or would I take the money and not be happy, or would I
Yeah.
be happy and not have money?
Yeah.
It's easy for me. I'd rather be happy than not happy with money.
Yeah. Nah, I love that, my bro. And my last question of the day, bro, before you shoot off is like in terms of like any like advice for our young people and stuff like that. For it, not just our young people, for other people like myself, that kind of want to get into pro wrestling. Not saying I want to get into pro wrestling, but like people who want to start doing something in pro wrestling or kind of get their feet in the door or stuff like that. What's some advice that you can give to our brothers and sisters that kind of want to do it but they're on the fence?
Oh man, it's not easy. First of all, you gotta understand whatever it is that you want or you want to go after, it's not gonna be easy. And once you understand that and come to terms with that, then go ahead and take that first step. And that first step has to be, if it's wrestling, what is it? Identify what it is. If it's starting at a school or training, take the first step. Go in, talk to somebody. But that's it. If it's something that you really want to do, it doesn't matter what it is. Just believe in it. And if it's really what you want to do, you will get there.
I love that. Thanks. Thank you guys for watching the Spinning Yards podcast. Thank you, my bro, for answering most of the questions that I had in my head for ages. Yeah, you're a legend, bro. You're the man, and you know, like even just taking the time to come in and have a conversation. This podcast drops every Thursday, 5:00 in the morning. I'm here with the underboss, former IWGP Intercontinental Champion. Bad luck, Fale. Have a good time and, you know, enjoy it.
Spinning Yarns, the best podcast coming out of Kara. Listen to the full episodes on all streaming platforms. Chirp!